What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Mav Bites. We got another episode for y'all. We took a little summer break. This time, I'm very happy to be here in Dilley, Texas with It Is Finished. I have Carlos and Sonia Maldonado, and such an honor to be here in their facility. Such a cool place you guys have here. That quote right there, along with your logo, our grind, his glory. I saw that and I was like, man, that's a logo. And then you told me it was registered. Yeah. So that's so amazing. We're so honored to be here. Thank you for having us. And tell us who you guys are. Who is Carlos and Sonia Maldonado? All
right. Well, man, that question, I guess to answer it the right way, right, it would require a long answer. So I'll just keep it short and say, man, I'm just someone trying to give God the best of what's left of me, right? Because I've given him the worst of me for a long time. And I'm just trying to be that person he's called me to be, you know, and stop running from it. So the short answer, I'm just trying not to be who I used to be, right? And just trying to serve God and glorify him in this way that he's got us doing now. And man, just give him, like I said, man, the best of what I've got left. So,
are y'all from Dilley? Both of you?
I'm from Pearsall.
You're from
Went
Pearsall?
to school in Pearsall.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Graduated 2001.
Cool.
Yeah. I was born in Pearsall. There's only hospital at the time, right? But raised in Dilley, man. I graduated back in 97.
Okay.
Lived here most of my life. I did leave for about 10 years or maybe 9 years. We moved over to Pleasanton for a while. Worked for a rope factory. Then I moved back to Dilley. I've been here ever since. So most of my life has been spent here.
So back then in Dilley, what was it like?
Oh, man, it's the reason I'm back, right? Because I'm a simple person, right? I live a simple life, and this is a simple town. You know, back then, of course, a lot has changed, right? Back then, we could stay out till dark, you know, we could ride our bikes wherever we wanted. We could pretty much do whatever we wanted, you know, without our parents worrying that we're not going to make it back home, you know, because they knew we were in good hands, whether it was at a friend's house or even just at the local park, you know. It's changed, you know. Now we like to drive around in the evenings, you know, when we have time, and man, the parks are dead, you know. It's not like it used to be. It's rare that you see kids out there playing basketball. We always had something going on, right? That was just a place to be because it's just a few blocks up the road, you know. And but that's one thing I did notice coming back, you know, is that life is different. You see less kids outside, you know, even our kids, you know, they come outside to do a few things, you know. Now with this shop here, they'll come out and do this, but you just don't see the activity the way it was back when we were growing up, you know. There were no cell phones. It was just you and your friends, man, and figuring out what you were going to do for the day.
There was more time for other things. Now there's only time for cell phones.
Yes, yeah. Man. It's really changed, and you learn to adapt with it. You know what I'm saying? We can't be too hard on our kids, and then make them go outside and figure out what to play with, right? Because they just don't have that mindset no more. You know, everything is on a phone or on a television. It's just different, but I'm glad to be back. You know, I'm glad to be, I feel like I'll be here, you know, until God calls me. You know, I believe that this is my home, you know. Yeah. I have no plans on going anywhere else.
That's awesome. That's awesome to hear. What would you say is your favorite thing about Dilley?
My favorite thing, or go ahead.
I think being a small town that everybody knows each other. When somebody needs help, the whole community gets together.
Yeah, that's awesome, for sure.
Yeah, I would agree. You know, it's a common thing that you hear in the small communities. You know, that you know everybody. They come together when something happens. Neighbors. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about It Is Finished. What is it, and how did that come to be?
Oh man. I've got the answer, right? But man, it was God-given. You know what I'm saying? I'm a lineman by trade. You know, I work power lines. I still have a full-time job. My wife sold insurance before all this, and man, it just happened one day, right? we're out at a football game in Pearsall. Our daughter was a cheerleader over there, and I just began to notice it was weird because I'm sure it was always going on, right? That the cheerleaders would toss out T-shirts and things to the crowd, right? But I never paid attention to it, man, until my daughter became a cheerleader.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, I found so much joy in the kids, right? Just happy, excited. And so the thought, how do I say it? It began right in my mind, right? Started to think about it. By the next year, our daughter moved back with us and was a cheerleader here in Dilley. So before that, I just started watching videos on YouTube, and I was like, you know what? I want us to print some shirts, so I ran that through my wife, and we're like, yeah, we'll print some shirts, have our daughter throw them out, just as giveaways, because, dude, I find joy in the simplest things, man. It's just, growing up, I did go through a lot of depression, right? And it was hard to be happy, right? And not so much that I was looking for happiness, right? It was just hard to be, to find joy in things. And now as an adult, now that I've got a good relationship with my depression, I understand it. Man, I just find joy in these things, right? That I couldn't have a whole lot of joy in when I was young. So that's where it started, is just the thought that we could print some shirts, have my daughter toss them out, and we just sit out there, man, and watch them. And that was the beginning, that was the beginning of us printing shirts. It was never business intentional. It was never intended to be a business. It was, I guess, a hobby. Maybe we wanted to do that because it, like I said, it brought me so much joy, and it brought my daughter joy, man, that she got to toss out all these things, and it was.
So you were inspired and started off.
Yeah, man. It was the inspiration. Like I said, was just the act of giving, man. It's my purpose, right? It's my calling. God's gifted me with this ability to give, right? And I guess that's why I find so much joy in it. It's just what makes me happy, man. It's what makes me smile.
I remember I came by the shop not too long ago, and you showed me what you started off with.
Oh.
And I was like, wow.
Yeah.
And then you showed me the progression.
Yeah. It's like I said, man, it was never intended to be this, right? But God had other plans. And as I began to let go, right, and give God control and understand that this was his calling, right? This was his purpose for us at this time. And I say that because I understand that at any moment, God could move us from this, right? And have us do something else. And man, I'm very comfortable with that, because I'm comfortable with what God's doing for me. And I understand that regardless where we go, right, regardless if he was to move us from here, from this business, right, that I'd continue to serve God and just continue to bless people.
That's awesome. What kind of services and products do you offer to your customers?
Services and products. We're a screen printing shop, right? That's what we're known for. It's our biggest, it's the biggest thing we offer, right? Full color screen printed shirts. But we've been blessed. We continue to grow, right? And with that growth, we try to fill our customers' needs, right? And what they're needing, things that they'd like to have for their businesses. So we added digital printing to where we could do small custom orders. We added digital printed caps, where you can get a full color image. It's not embroidered, but it lasts just as long. That image will last the lifetime of the cap, right? So we went from screen printing to custom digital, how do I say it? Digital custom shirts, right? Then from there, we expanded into caps. So then we started to buy patches off a vendor, right? We'd buy patches, and customers started requesting patch caps from us. And we come to find out that we have to order 25 at a time. So say your business wanted some patches, you'd have to order 25 from us because that was the minimum that we had to order, right? So that's what moved us into buying a laser engraver. So we picked up an AP laser, and for the simple fact of printing caps, right? Being able to supply these patch caps, right? So from there, we start to watch videos and watch different things we could do with this. And then we expand from caps to laser engraved cups, to laser engraved wallets, koozies, basketballs, baseballs, softballs,
Merch, all kinds
pretty
of
much anything that
Yeah.
fits under that laser we can engrave, So we're able to allow more products to our people. There's still a couple more things we're thinking about adding. We're just not sure if we're ready for that, because one thing about us, right, the growth we've experienced and being able to handle the workload, right, is that we are doing everything slow. It seems fast sometimes, because we started in our living room. We moved into a 12 by 12 storage room, and now we're in this 30 by 40 building, and for some people it might seem really fast, but sometimes I feel like, it's because we're doing it the right way. We're not in a hurry. We're simply fulfilling the needs that our customers are requesting, right? And just trying to do our best with what we have. And when we're able to, we upgrade equipment. So, yeah, man, it's mostly t-shirts, caps, cups, and then every once in a while the baseballs, basketballs, depending on the season. But yeah, that's what we're offering right now.
How did you come up with the name? It is finished.
The name, man, that's God-given. I can't say I came up with it. I don't believe I came up with it. This happened back when I was about 27 years old. Came to know Christ, right, in a different way. And the three crosses always, it always caught my attention, right? Like, why would Jesus allow these two people next to him, right? Why would he still give them give them a chance, right? Because if you know the story, it was two convicted people who deserved to be there, right? Jesus didn't deserve to be there, but they did. And even at that moment, Christ gave them a choice. He gave them the option to choose, man, to serve him or not, to accept him or not. And that's where the crosses came into play, right? That's what I took from that. Is that we've got a choice. Everyone's got a choice. It don't matter how old you are, how young you are, what you've been through, what you're gonna do. We're given a choice. So that's where the crosses came in, right? And as I'm studying scripture right back at that time, I was really just in love with the word of God, right? I then start to think about, the last words Jesus spoke. There was about 7 phrases, right? And I just couldn't understand, why did he have to say it is finished? You know what I'm saying? He's hanging there. I start thinking, what are the last things I want to say? What would be the last things I would say? It would just be, I love you to everybody, right? Mm-hmm. And he's saying it is finished, right? And what I took from that was, he was saying it because he was confident that he had come to serve his purpose. He came and fulfilled his purpose, what he was created for. He was put on this earth and he did it. So he was able to say those words. And that's what I take from that, right? Is that message that we've all been called to fulfill our purpose, right? So the first thing is finding that purpose, then fulfilling it, because, man, I daydream of the day that God calls me, right? And I'm sitting there, my family's all around me, and I can confidently say it is finished, that it didn't matter when I started, right? But I fulfilled my purpose, man. And I think there's no other peaceful way to go than that, knowing with complete confidence, man, that I did what I was supposed to do.
Yeah.
So that's where that came from, the 3 crosses, the love for the choice that we have, and the words, it is finished, the call to fulfill a purpose, not knowing that it ever become a brand, right? That's why I know it was God-given. Mm-hmm. These are just things I loved, and we put them together, and it made perfect sense, man. It made perfect sense because, I could tell you stories. I could tell you some stories, man. But, I'm just glad I'm not that way no more, I'm glad that I've decided to serve God this way. We've surrendered the business to God, right? Before we came into this building, we were already, God was the center of what we did. And even more so when we came to this building, we literally built this foundation on the word of God. Before the foundation was set, we dug a hole. All my family came together and we prayed over this land, right? And buried my Bible, face, open, right? Not covered. And just prayed to God, man, that his word that this foundation would be set on that word. You know what I'm saying? That everything we do from this shop, out of this building, this business, it would all be to glorify God, and it's just, it's what, I think it's what has grown us, right? Is the ability to surrender this and not call it ours.
Yeah.
It's not ours, man. Like I tell people, I'm the voice of the business. My wife is the backbone and God is the heart.
Yeah.
That's how we, that's how we see ourselves. It's not ours,
Well, that's awesome. One of the things I noticed, when I first came by the shop was there's a lot of passion in what you guys have done, the work that y'all put out. I mean, again, you had showed me what y'all started with. And,
oh God.
When you were showing me, sometimes, people do things in a way like they're showing off, but I didn't get that vibe. I got such a proud or passionate, like you're sharing your story, and you were walking me through, and as you're telling me, and I'm seeing the machines, I'm seeing what you started with, I'm seeing where you're at, I'm seeing the building, seeing what the work you guys have put in, and I'm moved, it's like, man, this guy's for real. He's put in a lot, and he has sacrificed a lot.
Yes.
And it shows. I can tell you that. You feel the passion. And also, I love that quote that you keep saying about, you've said it to me twice already, where you're the voice, she's the backbone, and God's the heart. To me, that just gives a beautiful example of what a couple and union should be. Like you guys are a team, and I can see that, and you work hand in hand. Not just the two of y'all, but with God in the middle, so.
No, believe me, I've tried to do some things on my own, right? Where I thought I was supposed to go this way, and God quickly showed me it was the wrong way, things backfired, things didn't work out. So now I've gotten to the point where it's a godly driven business. You know what I'm saying? It's just when I feel myself wanting to do something without considering, without talking to God, or, you know what I'm saying? I stop myself, because I know where that road's going to lead. It's probably a bad business decision. And, but no, man, it's the most peaceful place I've ever been is in the center of God's will, and completely surrendering everything to him, Believe me, I've got faults, man. I've got sins, right? And I'm convicted daily of the person, that the things I'm doing that I shouldn't be doing, and that's the one thing I love the most about God and my relationship with him, is that I've got that conviction, that spirit, that voice telling me, hey, you know better. You know what I'm saying? So it's been a work in progress. I wasn't always this way. Like I said, I've got some really bad, there's just some things, man, that I'm not really happy about that are in my past that are there, right? And I've learned to just leave it in the past, and give God, like I said before, give him the very best of me, man, because for so long he had the worst of me. And I don't know why, but God's found favor in us, right? And I'm not taking advantage of that anymore. It was hard to accept it, right? It was hard to accept that God would use people like me, right? That he would restore me, right, from the way I was, and give me everything he's given me, right, for the way I've lived, right? So I let that motivate me, man. And it's the latter part of my life, right? I wish I would have given him my youth, and I'd be amazed of where I'd be right now, but I didn't, so now what I've got left is to give him the very best. Like that's it. That's all I want to do, man. Yeah. Is glorify God in all the things we do. Although I fall short at times, right? I get back up and just, tell God I'm sorry and move forward, And I believe that's what's really helped us. Our relationship is the choices I'm making now, to be better than I've ever been.
What is your favorite thing about being a business owner?
My favorite thing. You want to answer this one?
No, you can. Mine, because mine would be, you can make your own hours.
No, check it out. My most favorite thing, right, is the thought of knowing that my wife doesn't have to go work for anyone else. There's no one out there going to be treating my wife ugly, be disrespecting her. We've got our own place, and thankfully, financially, we've been able to keep it this way, where she just runs a business full time. for me, the hope that I have, right, that dream, that vision is that I can't wait for the day that I don't have to work for no one else, and having this business, right, and continuing to grow it the way it's growing. I feel that soon I'll be able to just run, to be here and work here full time. So that's some of the most amazing things about having your own business. If you're willing to make that sacrifice, right, and I guess burn the ship, right, like people say, there's no going back. I've gotten really close to it. Let me tell you, I've gotten really close to just saying, you know what, I'm going to burn that ship. I'm going to stay here, and we're gonna make this grow. But I don't want it to be a me call. So I've got to wait for God. I've got to wait for God. I've got to know. I'll know when there's complete peace that it's time to leave what I do. Stop being a lineman and then do this full time. But that's what's pretty awesome about having your own business, is that that you could take it to the next level when it's time.
How can people find your business or get a hold of you?
How can people? I guess Facebook, man. It's weird. We were very bad at social media, right? But it's become the easiest place for people to get a hold of us is through our Facebook page. We finally got over 1,000 followers on our page sometime last month, over 1,000 likes.
That's awesome.
So that would be the easiest way, is we used to have a phone number on there, but nobody ever called it. So we took it off. And now it's just through Facebook, just It Is Finished Screen Printing, or our personal pages, Carlos, Sonia Maldonado. They could reach us there.
Cool.
And we are having a website made.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Okay.
Coming soon.
Coming soon. See, I was going to answer that question a little later, but we've got some exciting news. We reached out to you. I seen your page, Oilo, right?
Yes.
Oilo. And I was like, talk to my wife. I was like, you know what? It's time, it's time that we create a website, because what's interesting about our business is it's like two businesses in one, right? We provide a screen printing service to regular customers, businesses, restaurants. But throughout all that, we've got a brand we're pushing out, the It Is Finished brand. Like you said, we were able to register it. It was the best thing that ever happened to us, was getting that letter that it was approved and it's a registered logo. So we've been working to build that, right? To build that brand. So yeah, man. So when we reached out to you, it was pretty exciting. You responded pretty quick, and so coming soon. We'll have I believe it's itisfinishedgear.com. I'm not sure exactly what it's called yet, right? It's in the works, but yeah, man, that'll be another place for people to get a hold of us. Of course, that's only going to be It Is Finished Gear. That's not going to be a place for customers to reach us to do custom printing. That's solely going to be the brand, just this brand that glorifies God. And that's what that's going to be about. So that helps us a lot, right? Because in the winter, the holidays, we have less orders from customers because no one's doing anything. But that's the time that our brand has grown the most. People reach out to us. We print them Christmas gifts. And it's just last year we had a really good year. We printed over 100 items, I believe, for Christmas, and it kept us busy. So that's what's pretty cool about us, is that it's like two businesses in one, and we're constantly trying to grow the brand. And I believe you're going to help us with that, man. And we look forward to it.
Exciting things to come. How would you describe your experience of owning a business in Dilly?
Okay. You got this? Like I said, I'm the voice.
Yes.
She makes that really clear.
I don't talk much.
So what was that again? How would I describe
the experience of owning a business in Dilly?
Man, I love it. To tell you the truth,
it feels like you guys have been embraced quite well.
I love the fact that we've got a business in Dilly, right in our hometown. Man, it's pretty awesome. That's why we built on this land. My parents allowed us to build here. Because like I mentioned before, I don't plan on going anywhere. Dilly's my home. People are good to us. It was a struggle in the beginning because I don't know how it is in Pearsall, right? But over here, there's a shirt printer down every block, so there's a lot of people printing shirts, right? But it's a popular trade.
I know it is.
It is, and
But there's a lot of business.
yeah,
There's
there's
a lot of business.
man, there's so much business. For those who follow our page, we're very transparent with what we do, right? I show everything because there's no reason to keep it a secret, right? There is no secret. That's the secret, right? It's all customer service, man. And Dilly has embraced this, Pearsall as well. And we're beginning to expand to other towns. And it's just crazy, man. It's crazy to know that this little business that started in our living room, it overtook our living room, man. Finally moved into an old 12 by 12 shed. And now we're here, right? It's just amazing to see where we started, right? And how Dilly has helped us grow, and we couldn't have picked a better place. We couldn't have picked a better place for this to happen. Like I said, it's all God given. I believe it was it's his desire that we do this here. And I believe that's why we've experienced the growth that we're experiencing.
What kind of obstacles have y'all encountered?
That's a good question, man, because being the type of printers we are, right? I'll tell you, in these 4 years, we've probably rejected 100 jobs, at least 100 jobs, right? Because we're not the printers that are going to print whatever's popular. We're not going to print whatever just because something's going to sell, right? So we're very careful with the things we decide to print, right? We're not printing nothing vulgar, nothing that could be taken, anything that I have to question, right? Like that comes in and I'm like, I don't know if I should do this. We don't do it. COVID, when that hit, right? There were so many t-shirts and images going out and so many requests for things. And I had no peace, man. I had no peace. So we never printed any. I believe we printed a few shirts for the hospital in Pearsall. But it was a different type of shirt, right? This whole thing, like the political shirts, all that stuff going on with Joe Biden and all that, we were asked to print so many things, man. And I just got comfortable saying no. So in the beginning, it was scary, right? Because we're letting go so much work, right? We don't print trademarked images, copyrighted images. We just stay away from it all. And you see this going on everywhere, it's just what happens, right? But we just don't want to be those printers. So it was hard because we were giving up a lot of money, right? And we were young and I mean, not young, but it was early on in our business, right? And we could have used it, right? It could have helped us grow, but I knew it wasn't the right way for us. So that was one obstacle, but I think people have gotten the hint now, we rarely get a request for something crazy. Because for the most part, you don't see it posted on our page. So that kind of, I think when people search us up, they see that we're not the type of printers that be doing those things.
What would you say is the most rewarding part of this job?
The most rewarding part, you got this, or you still want me to keep going?
Yeah.
Man, I'm going to be honest with you, is the times that we get to give back. We don't talk of everything we do, right? We don't post it, but we know what we've done, right? And it's just so awesome, man. From the shirts we take to the cheerleaders, right? We try to take them t-shirts to every home game since my daughter had been cheering, right? I think we've done it 4 years, 3 or 4 years. Find so much joy in that, man. Not to mention going to football games and we're sitting there and we see all these people wearing t-shirts we've printed, and the majority of them have our logo on the sleeve, because that's something we started back in the day, is trying to brand everything we did, that's how we marketed ourselves. And I find so much joy in that, man. Just like, oh gosh, we had our hands on that, and and to see the joy that people have in wearing our stuff, right? Especially the It Is Finished brand. We get people tag us and post us of where they're at. And, it's just pretty awesome. We've got our brand in about 17 states right now. That's one of the goals I have written down, right? Is that our brand would reach all 50 states, so that's something we're working on. And I believe that website that we've got getting worked on is going to really help us get to that point, right? Just to know, man, that this God-given brand, right? This brand that glorifies everything Christ was about, right? Would reach so many different places other than Dilly. That's one of the it's an amazing feeling, man.
It's an awesome goal.
Yeah. And it's possible, you guys were on my goal.
To be on Mav Bites.
To be on Mav Bites, let me tell you.
You told me that, and then you busted out your spiral with your list of goals.
Look, I'm going to bring it out. I don't know if we do these things.
And you showed it to me.
I've got a spiral, man. It's got 3 pages of goals in it, right? And I think the second page, about halfway down, is an interview with Mav Bites, right? And because I love what you guys do. I feel like it's one of the best platforms around for people like us, right? To be able to just come on here, be real, be transparent, and let people know what we're about, right? So yeah, man, as soon as I seen y'all's 3rd video, I wrote it down like I want an interview with Mav Bites, but I knew I wouldn't reach out to y'all. It's just what God's placed in my heart, right? That when something's supposed to happen, he'll make it happen, right? And so it came to be that we talked, about a website, and then we start talking about this, and it's just the right time, But yeah, man, it's pretty awesome, dude. I like to write things down. That's one thing I've learned throughout the past, I guess, 2 years, right? 2-3 years, is just start writing things down, man. Writing down my goals, my visions. And it's crazy because as time goes by, I begin to check things off, man. Mm-hmm. Today I get to check off another one, so it's pretty cool.
Happy to help. Yeah. I was amazed when you brought out that list. I mean, he really does mean 3 pages worth of goals.
Yeah.
And Mav Bites was on there. Sure enough.
Yeah, no, I was like, oh gosh, this is happening. I got to show you, But no, like I said, we appreciate this, that you guys would come here. We got to witness the setup, right? It's pretty amazing what you and Matt do, and like I said, we appreciate it, that we've been able to, that y'all have done this for us, right? Because you're helping us, how do I explain it? For more people to see what we're about, right? Because not too many people get to talk. We don't get to talk like this with too many people. So, man, you're doing good things, I just want you to know that it's an amazing feeling to sit here right now, for sure.
Well, for sure, I'll plug in Mav Bites now with that. That is the goal of Mav Bites. That's our goal, to expose as many businesses as we can. And with that, I'd like to invite anybody who is wanting to be on here, who wants to kind of grow in their business or just show what they're about, or bring to the table, the real version of what it is that you do or what you are, So very glad to be here, guys. What accomplishments are you most proud
of? Sorry. You got this one? No?
Our building?
It's quite an accomplishment. The building is amazing.
Yeah, no, that's something that was God-given as well, right? For me, I want to say I guess one of the greatest accomplishments, right, that I felt was the day that we received our letter that our logo had been accepted and was trademarked.
Yeah.
The day that we got that letter back, man, it was like, it just was a crazy feeling, right? To know that this brand that was God-given, right, that he allowed us to use, right, now belongs to us. It's just that was one of our greatest accomplishments, in my mind that I could think of. It's in the top 3 for sure, right? But yeah, it's pretty awesome to know that this brand, right, that represents what we do and what God's done for us, we now own it. It's pretty cool.
What type of advice would you give to young aspiring entrepreneurs in the area?
Young aspiring, man, I guess the first thing I would say, right, is slow down. Slow down. Think about, this business that you're aspiring, right, is what you said, to start. Slow down. I'd say get off your phone for a few days, get off the television and search your heart. That's what I would tell someone sitting across from me right now. Take some time, search your heart. Is this new thing you're fixing to start, is it in line with your purpose? Have you searched your heart out? Have you spoken to God? Is it in line with what he's created you to do? Because if it's not, more than likely it's going to fail, and it might crush you. So I'd say just give God some time, give God some time, pray about it. And when you find peace, right, if this thing that you're fixing to do in any way lines up with what God's called you to do, right? And you know that because it's the thing that consumes your mind, your heart. I would say, think of that one thing you could do if money was no option and you could do it the rest of your life, and if that thing lines up with that, then I say, go for it. Go for it. It don't matter how old you are. It don't matter. Don't let no one talk you out of it. If it's in line with your purpose and why you're created, just go all in, man. Give me a call. Yeah. I'll give you some advice. I'm not a very educated person, right? But I know what God can do for a person who's completely serving him, right? Who's completely surrendered the business. So yeah, I'd say that, man, just go slow. And when it's time, go all in.
You kind of mentioned this a little bit, but there have been several instances where you have helped out the community. Do any projects stand out in particular? What inspired you to help during those times? I've heard several.
Yeah, times. Man, the inspiration to help it's just my calling. It doesn't take much to inspire me. That's one thing I've learned is when you're living in your calling, right? It doesn't take much, to do what's needed, right? But I try not to think too much of the things we've done, right? It's kind of like, don't let your left hand know what your right hand is doing, right? So when it's done, and we move on, right? And then we prepare ourselves for the next thing, right? But if I could pick one thing right now, it'd be, I think it was about 1.5 years into our business, right? Me and my wife were laying, fixing to go to bed, and I had this thought come into my head, right into my heart, and I start to talk to her and say, hey, let's print some t-shirts, man, and just give them to the kids. Let's just print all these Dilly Wolf Pride shirts and give them away. And she was like, it's crazy because when me and her both believe something is supposed to happen, man, it just happens. And so there we are, man. It took us like 10 minutes. We created a post and said, hey, we're going to print these shirts. We're going to give them out to the kids. They'll be ready in a week. No questions asked. Just come by the house. We'll give your kid a shirt. And it was pretty awesome, right? Because I guess a week into it, a young lady reached out to us. Was it Jocelyn?
Jocelyn. Yeah.
Jocelyn. Oh my goodness, I forgot her last name. Calzado. Jocelyn Calzado, I believe. She's I believe she was a student here, right? She was in the military at the time, and dude, she just reached out to us and said she sent us something. She had sent us $1,000.
Oh, wow.
So we were able to purchase another 200 shirts. So we gave out about 500 shirts at that time. And when we got the money from her, right, we changed up the design. I reprinted a screen and I snuck her initials in there. So the bottom of the shirt, right, was like a D, and I put her initials in there because I just thought it was so awesome, man, that somebody so far away, right, would feel that, that and desire. So not a need, right? Because it wasn't a need. It was just that desire she felt. Yeah, very young. To just send us that, man. And we put it to work right away. And and it was crazy. A couple of days after that, right, as we're doing this, right, we're printing every day because I work full time. So I get home, print. We're on old equipment, so it took a lot longer back then, right? It was really some work. Dude, the news comes over one day. Was it Channel 5? I think Channel 5 showed up at our house and did an interview on us.
Oh, wow.
And it was just weird because we're working out of our living room in this old little building. And they're like, you guys, man, they got cameras everywhere and they're videotaping. And I wish I would have had better answers right at that time, but I was too young in the business. I wish I could have just spoken a little differently, right? But yeah, there's an interview out there on YouTube somewhere. So that was, I guess it made me feel like it was a great accomplishment, right? That, wow, what we did really made a difference, Made
it to the news, yeah.
Because that's what we believe, man, is that we're here to simply make a difference one shirt at a time. and it comes through the give backs. Like I said, we don't talk much about it, but
and it wasn't so much being on the news. It was just the joy on the kids' faces.
Dude, you should. Oh man,
we printed 3 colors and we would let them choose what they wanted, and
it was such an awesome feeling.
Just so
like
excited.
They weren't just being given something, right? Like, here, that's all we got. It was like, come in here. We'd let them walk in the house and they'd pick out of a box. Man, I forgot about that feeling, man. But yeah, that was one of the greatest things that we've been able to be a part of, is doing that for the local kids.
You guys kind of already mentioned this, but are there any future plans or the vision for It Is Finished? Any ideas that you care to share further? You mentioned the website earlier.
Yeah. That's why I said I was supposed to answer that later. But no, the website is one of the biggest things we're looking forward to, right? Is because now we're going to be able to reach other states a lot easier, because it's going to be completely new to us. But thankfully, you're going to be a part of this. We're going to keep you on as long as we can, because we're too busy. That's why we haven't been able to create a website. So we're hoping that when it's done, because it's going to be done and it's going to be done perfectly. I know it is, right? We're looking forward to you helping us manage that and helping us reach that 50 state goal, where we get to, where this brand makes it that far, So yeah, we're really looking forward to that. The vision, right? Man, all I ever think about, right, when me and my wife sit around and talk, I tell her that I'm not really focused on how far we're going to take this business. It's not my focus. My focus is to have a really strong, unshakable foundation, right? To grow these roots deep, man. Because what I'm interested in is knowing how long the business is going to last when I'm gone. So that's my only vision, man, is to build this place and see how long it lasts when I'm gone. That's the goal. Yeah. Is that this place continue, that we continue to glorify God and that this brand make it everywhere. So if there's a vision, that's what it is. To set this place up so that it continues when I'm not here.
Yeah, that's awesome. So as this interview comes to a close, is there anything you would like for the community to know? Man, just that we're here for you guys. One thing that we don't talk about a lot, right? Because it's just something we talk about is, I just like people to understand that when they bring us business, right? When they allow us to do the work for them, right? We're giving them the very best that we have, whether it was on old equipment or new equipment, right? But what they're doing is they're allowing us to separate part of those funds, right? And always be prepared to help somebody. We make it a point, man, that no matter what finances come in, something is separated. Mm-hmm. We live a simple life. We live in a small mobile home, we drive one vehicle. I sold my Jeep. We sold the Jeep so that we could build this, right? And we continue to live simple because we've learned that the simpler we live, the more easier it is for us to be prepared to help somebody. Like I said, it's my calling, man. It's what I live for, so I just like for people to know that, that we're not just making money off of people, we're not just here. Let me tell you, man, we're not here to make a profit, A profit is good and it's helped us grow, right? But that's not why we started this. And that's not why we're growing, we're growing because we allow ourselves to be used by God. I hope that makes sense. I wasn't real sure how to answer this question, but it's just that, man, that, the more business we have, the more jobs we're able to print, the more people we're able to help in a simpler answer, right? Yeah.
That's what I'd like people to know.
Guys, well, thank you so much for having us. It's been great. That's it for Mav Bites, guys. We'll catch you guys on the next one.